Oh, wait, wait,
All
wait,
right.
wait, wait. Sorry, I forgot to open Audacity.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Make
yeah,
make sure
no,
you have
I
the right device selected too.
right. I
Yeah,
forgot to do
no,
everything.
I've been using it with my new band. We've been doing a few demo tracks, so I've
All right.
gotten a bit.
Have you come up with a name yet?
No, we're still discussing that.
I kind of like destructive criticism.
It's just too clunky. You're right. It would be funny, but like I don't know.
Anything that you can fit Death Wish into.
That's an
Sounds good to
album.
me.
That's an album, not a band.
Just throw the word Death Wish, put it at the end of whatever name you come up with.
Yeah,
Destructive criticism, Death Wish.
Okay.
you know that
you
is
know what?
better.
Yeah, I'm getting your point now. I was very critical of this idea, but now
I
I'm
was
starting to see
I
it.
was going with like a much more random word, like Alabama Death Wish.
Yeah, Alabama Death Wish.
Paperboy Death Wish.
Here we are, born to be kings. We're the princes of the universe. Here we belong, fighting to survive in a war with the darkest power.
Hey everyone, you listen to GenreBot, the group writing machine. I'm Adam, in a closet, but not that kind you're thinking about.
A walk-in
Oh.
closet?
Yeah, it's
No,
a walk-in.
I get it
So
now.
you were thinking about the right one.
We forgot to do this week on new things Adam has, but anyway.
We could just do that.
Well, it's because because he needs internet connection and his hotspot is in a closet.
No, that's not it at all.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought
Okay,
you
well,
said-
fine. Let's just do this. All right.
Well,
new
I'm
intro.
gonna picture. All right, I want our listeners to
Two
picture you
intros
sitting
this
in a
week.
dark
Two
closet.
intros you get.
I'm in a closet because every room in my apartment echoes. Except, so I had to make a soundproof dome for me to broadcast in.
Well, I'm the Vic. I'm the Vic because there can be only one.
Nice.
Your full name is Victor, last name the Fifth, though.
Well, I mean, you know,
Only one at a time.
yeah, there's only one at a time.
And
Your
you don't-
dad is still alive. I don't know about your grandfather. I know for a fact that your father is alive. He's a wonderful
Andrew, do you want to say
young
your
man.
name?
What's
Yeah! It's for every one of us. Stand for every one of us. It's time everybody, hand everybody, everyone, every time, everybody flash. We're everything to Flash.
Hey, welcome to GenreBot, the group rating machine. That's been new things that Adam has, and the other intro. I'm Andrew, part host, all the host.
Okay. And this week's genre is historical fantasy. Ching,
Historical.
ching.
Genre's historical fantasy. This is Adam and Victor, your guardians of the galaxy.
And I'm letting you go this time, Andrew, because it's your episode. Why don't
Yeah,
you tell
it's
us all
your
about the genre?
genre, and I'm waiting to hear you tell us how this isn't just Highlander. Go.
Okay. Historical fantasy is a work incorporating fantastic elements into a historical setting. That's it.
You do this
Examples.
bit every time it's your topic. You
What?
just repeat the
Yeah.
topic.
It's like you can't shut up when we don't want you to.
Wait. You're over here. You're over here just talking down to me. You haven't seen what I'm bringing to the table.
You're
You're just
right.
chowing down and you're like, hey Andrew, this is
Keep
some
re-
lame potato salad. This tastes like air. I'm like, no, I've got it in my hands. It's right here.
What are you on this week?
Yeah, like, all right, come on. Keep going. Tell us more. Historical fantasy, fantastical elements in a historical setting. Go on.
Alright.
Got some examples?
Historical fantasy is a work incorporating fantastic elements into a historical setting. Some examples are Highlander, a good movie. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, a good movie. Indiana Jones, a good franchise. Pirates of the Caribbean, a pretty solid franchise. And to make a tremendous leap in cultural significance from Pirates of the Caribbean, Shakespeare's Macbeth and Julius Caesar. Witches and Ghosts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Macbeth was a nice touch there.
Yeah, no, there's a lot
I really
of...
love saying the name Macbeth.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of films that, they wouldn't pop up on Wikipedia as historical fantasy, but they count as it. The most recent Three Musketeers adaptation, where they have airships, definitely counts as historical fantasy.
Well, are the airships powered by magic or by steam?
They're airships. Airships are fantasy.
Are they powered by steam or something? Are they?
I would consider that fantastical.
I would consider that sci-fi.
Well, this genre can overlap with steampunk and diesel punk and stuff like that.
Steampunk normally features, that normally doesn't count so much because that's normally some kind of fantastical steam engine.
Okay,
it's not a fantasy element.
But the Van Helsing movie has steampunk and fantasy in a historical sense.
Yeah. That works.
I would put that on the list. Because that's why I'm saying, because steampunk is a way of taking history but adding something kind of crazy to it, but it has some sort of logic behind
it's on the list.
Yeah, and the way I see all the punks is that they're fantasy in a different shape or form. Yeah. So they're under the umbrella of fantasy.
But
so
our genre this week is not steampunk, no sir, and it never will be. No. This is historical fantasy, a broader topic.
Okay, great.
True.
Character time.
He chooses.
Character time.
All right.
Adam.
Okay. I'm a big fan of historical fantasy because I'm writing a short story and that's that style. And in the same time frame as my character. What?
Yay.
Whoa.
Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. Sorry, but we are gonna have some problems with this one because we don't discuss our characters before this show, and we definitely picked them all from different periods of time.
That's actually a very easy fix.
Yeah, especially with my character, I built something into it in case we needed it.
I did that too, so maybe this is gonna be easier. All right, proceed.
Right. Yeah, okay, so...
Make it so.
My character is named Theodora Athenia D.
Athenia D, like D-E-E?
D-E-E. To keep it simple, I'm just going to call her Dora D. From here on out.
Dorothy.
So
tell us about Dorothy.
No, just Dora. Just
Swiper
Dora.
no swiping. Swiper no swiping.
Okay, great.
Already regretting this.
Oh, and for the record, Victor would be Dora, Adam would be Boots, I would be Swiper.
That's pretty good.
That's actually not bad.
Oh, man.
So, Dora was born on February 28th, 1588.
All right.
And
you are already 300 years after my character.
That's fine. We'll make it work. So this time period is the in the Renaissance era, and specifically, she's the daughter of John Dee. In a way, I'll get into that in a sec. I'm not sure if you guys know about this, but they're two of my favorite historical characters, John Dee and Edward Kelly. They were, John Dee more specifically was basically a wizard in the Renaissance world. He studied the occult. He was like an alchemist, philosophy student, learned at Cambridge, and he was just obsessed with the occult studies and stuff like that.
Okay, can I guess something real quick?
Sure.
You said her middle name's Athena, right?
Athenia.
Athenia, okay. I'm gonna guess that somehow John Dee had a daughter without a woman being involved, like the Greek story where Athena is born out of Zeus's forehead.
Nope.
Well, I was wrong.
That was a great guess, though. Bravo.
Yeah, good guess. It actually has nothing to do with it. I picked it. I'll show you exactly why I picked that in a sec. But yeah, so John Dee basically what he did was in the pursuit of the occult, he traveled all around Europe, England, trying to learn more about it, and he employed a scryer, someone who can read, look into mirrors and what's the word, divine information, stuff like that. communicate with spirits called Edward Kelly. Now, their relationship was very back and forth, up and down, kind of. Is
Side
he,
to side.
Are they fraud? Like, kind of, the big historical question is: are they frauds, or were they tapping at something like real magic?
What did Edward Kelly do?
He was a scryer. He he would look at a. They had this black mirror, that polished mirror type thing that they got from the New World, the Aztec Empire.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is cool because it's like combining new world and old world into this like delicious mix of just tapping into the very essence of the Earth's magic.
I like that.
And he would, and what he did was he would look into it, and basically from their studies they would see angels, spirits, and communicate with them. They described an entire Enochian language, which they believed was the language that Adam and like the first people spoke.
Well, did you?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
No.
What was that language called?
Enochian.
Like the prophet Enoch.
Yep.
Who was said
That's
to have
right.
been taken by God and transformed into an angel.
Right. And I know this is all backstory to backstory, but it's a period of history that I really like, and I think it's entertaining. And
That is interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much material there.
it's really deep.
Okay, so yeah, we haven't seen Dora show up yet.
Let me get right into that. So
Let's stop interrupting him.
eventually, what happened was, basically, D was working Kelly to like the bone. Like he was like tiring him out. He did like late night sessions, basically every night. And Kelly, either he was too tired of it or he had a real vision. But the story goes is that Kelly goes to D and he's like, "Oh, the angel Uriel came to me, and he said that in order to be one with this world, we must share everything, share like all our wealth, share our wives with each other." Which and John D had a pretty hot young wife, but he was trusted in Kelly so much that he said, "Okay, fine, you can sleep with my wife, I'll sleep with your wife." And what happened 9 months later, they had a child. The child who in history was specifically Theodorus D. But I, for some reason, I have a thing that I really like flipping genders of characters in this time period. And I haven't done a girl in a very long time.
We're not doing phrasing.
I think of my 14 characters, 2 of them have been girls, and 1 of them was a kaiju. Yeah, so Dora basically, she was raised by D as his own daughter, and she kind of has that like inborn something. She doesn't feel right because, or rather, she knows that she's not D's natural daughter, but she's like a scryer in her genetically, but she can learn all the alchemic skills type thing. So she's kind of, her goal in her life is to constantly try and pursue, kind of redeem herself in the eyes of her father, her true father, not the father, her natural one. Whew. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff.
That's a lot.
Nice.
Yeah. I thought about it pretty hard. I did a similar character in my short story in this world, or like, in that kind of time period. And
So she's... Sorry.
go ahead.
So she's kind of like a psychic almost, but like a diviner. Divination magic.
Yeah, the way I like to see it is that alchemy is a skill that you learn, while scrying is a skill that's natural, that's born into you. So it's kind of two sides of this coin is what she's trying to.
And for those of us not so well versed in fantasy, define scrying.
Like I said before, scrying is like looking into mirrors, seeing into the future, divining information.
Okay.
That type of stuff. Also communicating with spirits and that type of deal. So yeah, she's in a word, she's basically a wizardess in the Renaissance.
Okay, this is interesting.
She sounds like more like an oracle.
Oracle is probably a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Although she would definitely lean towards more alchemical pursuits, such as alchemists. They were always looking for the philosopher's stone, the solution that turns regular metals into gold. They also interested in the ultimate solvents and the ultimate healing panacea.
I have. Go ahead.
But most importantly, the elixir of life, which might be able to we might be able to incorporate with immortality stuff. But I've talked a while. Let's get your characters in here.
I have taken so many notes. Like, whoa.
Well, get ready to take some more with Andrew's character time.
Okay.
All right, let's hear it.
Are you ready? Oh yeah, for the character that I made. Yeah. All right.
Yes.
That's
yes,
enough
we're
hyping
ready.
up. Fatima Shatsan.
Okay, Fatima. Can you spell the last name?
Shatsan. Shatsan.
Okay.
It's Mongolian for burned, and I will tell you why. Or maybe it's Persian. I forget what I translated. Sounds
Okay.
Mongolian. Fatima was a Shiite Muslim and a descendant of jinn, fantastical element, born in 13th century Persia. She was
She was descendant of a jinn.
Yeah, a jinn, or like
Ooh.
she has jinn blood. Jinn
Okay.
is like a sort of fire spirit in
Yeah.
Islamic theology.
You know,
It's
I'm
in our
aware,
Western
that's why I
world, we
was
know it as a genie.
Right, Solomon
Yeah,
was said to
a
attract a
a-
bunch of them.
Yeah, a jinn. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. A jinn is basically a jinn.
Although I believe the singular is jinni and the plural is jinn.
Really?
I don't know about that.
That sounds counter to
I've-
English.
I wrote a short story in this period. I know that.
I
okay.
understand if you,
I
well,
trust your
I'm gonna look.
expertise
I'm
then.
gonna look that up, and we can argue later. Because I've read
Okay.
things that have referred to a single jinn as a jinn.
Well, it's like that's more as you can see, that's the more modernized version. But back into the old roots. Same thing with Ifrits and Ifriti.
Okay,
the
well
fire
then-
demons.
Well, okay, then I probably shouldn't have. I probably shouldn't have used any S's. I should have used all F's because that's the modern way. But the historical route would be.
Oh, I'm just saying.
All right.
Continue.
All right. Fatima was a Shiite Muslim, and oh wait, no, I wrote that. I read that part already. She
What
was
I have so
captured-
far. Go ahead. All right, go ahead.
All right. She was captured by the Mongols and eventually became the most trusted advisor of Toragini Khatun, the third ruler of the Mongol Empire, after Genghis, and she is Genghis's son's widow, Toragini.
Okay.
So
Okay,
Genghis
became-
Khan's daughter-in-law is ruling the Mongol Empire. She's elevated this person that they've captured from Persia to be her most trusted advisor.
All right. So,
Hmm.
advisor to Genghis Khan's daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, Genghis Khan's son died, and her and his widow is kind of ruling in between, because then her son Guyuk is elected Khan, and he, through a complicated series of events, sentences Fatima to be bound and thrown into a river for witchcraft.
Ooh.
And then she died. But this is a fantasy character description. So, Fatima's bindings miraculously burned while she was drowning, and she washed up on the riverbank alive. She eventually killed Guyuk Khan while he was leading his army through China. Since then, she has developed a deeply spiritual connection to the Jinn fire magic that saved her life. Yes. Yes, she can shoot fireballs.
Got it.
Okay, so she's basically like a she channels fire elemental powers.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's
fire
like
mage.
she's like a pyromancer.
Yeah, but it's more spiritual than that. It's like a mix between a fire mage and a paladin in D&D terms. Also, I said if we need her outside of the 13th century, maybe she can restore herself like a phoenix because Jinn magic.
Nice. That's a good angle to go with it. I'm glad you thought of that.
Yeah.
All right. But it doesn't matter if she can go into the future. Let's find out what Victor's character is.
All right, I would like to complain for a second first, if I may.
Okay.
because all right, couple things here. Last episode, your characters were a police commissioner that was a tiger in a movie where characters are people, not animals, okay? And an anthropomorphic police car
Animate
Who-
police car.
who was like
Right.
a
It's
straight
important to
edge
keep
cop.
it's
Okay,
important to
no,
keep a
no.
distinction.
All right, so
Okay. Yeah.
so those were your characters, okay? And I I was kind of faced in this one with a couple options. I know I'd been saying that I wanted to kind of mix things up, but after the last episode, I was like, well, I think we have effectively mixed things up. And I'll be honest, I've been getting a lot more cozy with this kind of genre ever since I started playing D&D and stuff like that. But it's still not really in my core wheelhouse. So I tried to make something really that I just thought would be cool.
No,
but
nothing wrong with that.
We owe you a weird character.
Well, compared to the amount of like research and detail and intricate crap you guys have, my character is now Clown Shoes. Thank you very much.
I just know a lot about the Mongol Empire because I listened to hardcore history.
And I happen to know a lot about this time period, just the Renaissance, because I wrote a short story about it. And it's the kind of thing where sometimes I just hit he's a pirate. Yeah, we'll make that work. Type deal, or he's just a car.
I know plenty about the Renaissance. I mean, I teach. Last year, I taught an honors Britlit course to seniors, and like I can keep up with that whole thing. But I mean, like, what I'm saying is like you actually like looked up stuff to go with your characters, and mine is actually all right. My character is actually.
I crave simplicity here. Just say he's a cowboy.
I'm gonna go into mine now.
Right.
I actually based mine on the mythos of two fictional characters. One is actually a Renaissance character, John Faustus.
All right.
And the other is a comic book character, sparingly used by DC, Vandal Savage. Although he's kind of the main antagonist of that new show they have. It's not really like the way they do him in the comics. And I'll come back to that at the end when I'm done explaining how that fits in. So his name is Zlao Novor. That's Zlownovor. Okay.
You're the one that's got to spell it for the website.
Well, yeah, but So, I just have long ago. I picture it being like Anglo-Saxon times. He was a fortune teller, kind of reminds me of, what Adam was telling us about John Dee. Had a very high interest in, the secrets of the world and, kind of got bored with the limitations of the knowledge of humankind, much like, Faustus. Okay. Very Faustian desires. So he kind of started to sacrifice his own morals at the sake, for the sake of learning more and becoming more. Problem is, he started to really take it far. Started experimenting. Started to disregard human life. Started to make sacrifices, blood and things like that. But before he could really achieve that much, he was chased out of his village or wherever he was at that time. It's not really that important. He was with some company of people and then had to leave. But in his solitude, he actually he became kind of like a wandering hermit. And here's where he starts to sort of be like Vandal Savage. He kind of stumbles accidentally into a way of tapping into a very primal sort of, I don't want to say portal, but it's kind of like a blurred line.
Yeah, Marvin Gaye's family owns
like
it.
The veil between realities is just very thin, and he stumbles upon it. And suddenly, what happens is that a very ancient, I don't want to say evil, but a being from a very dark place merged with him, like his soul, like again, it's kind of Faustian. He sacrificed his soul and merged with this being. So it's not like he's not himself, but he is. Like he still has all his memories and he's still himself, but he now shares a soul with this being, and he gains immortality basically. But it's not his body is not permanent. Like, his body won't live forever. There's a specific way that he needs to choose a host and has to perform a certain kind of grotesque ritual and basically consumes that person's soul and then takes over their body.
Nice.
So he's been going from body to body for millennia, and he's lived 1,000 lifetimes. He's been men, women, children. He's lived entire lifetimes. He's gotten married. He's been a laborer. He's been a priest. He's been a soldier. He's done all kind. He basically now that's Vandal Savage. Vandal Savage was a caveman that, there was a strange meteorite that gave him immortality, and instead of being a body snatcher, he just couldn't die no matter what. Like, you could liquefy him and he would still just regenerate. And so yeah, so basically that was my thing. I went back really far, and I figured whatever time period we're in, he'll be there. And he could be anyone. That's kind of the thing with him. He's just on an eternal quest for knowledge, and there's actually like a sort of nobility to that. Like, I haven't even really decided whether I want him to be redeemable or not. I just think because that's kind of the point of Faustus, is that Faust isn't a villain. He's just a foolish human being. He wanted too much and was willing to give up too much to get it. So there you go.
Wow. I must say, these are probably my 3 favorite characters that we've done.
Yeah.
And a single movie about each one of them would be really amazing. And it's going to be a real fun time in putting all 3 of them into one.
Yeah.
Which is all right. What we're going to do now with story time.
Story time.
Story
time.
time.
So we've got a fire witch, basically, a diviner type witch also, and a character that sounds shockingly like a major villain that was just revealed in season 3 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. A show Victor does not watch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you cannot call me, you cannot claim that I stole something from the show that I don't watch.
No, that's cool. What I think is funny is how connected our characters are in like different ways. That Victor's and mine both have a kind of appreciation for the occult, or like they had that interest in there. But you found a source of immortality, while I'm almost pursuing for one. Andrew and my character has that magic connection where we both have our own primal sources of that. But all 3 in different ways. And good job on the historical side of things, because it's also the main component of historical fantasy is that you link it to history in a way, and we each kind of picked a time period and made it work.
Yeah. Me and Adam did one that was more specific, but Victor's is good because you can like slot that into like a couple of different time periods and places.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is really, I kind of wish we all did that. Because now we got to bring immortality into it.
Well, if you ask me, I think what we have to do is like kind of waterfall, like push them all to the latest time period, the Renaissance.
I was gonna say, I think the Renaissance will be the most fun for us to play with here.
That works, because otherwise you got to time travel backwards, which is
Elixir of Life can push me forward, and Phoenix Powers can push you forward, and he pushes forward all the time. So
yeah, so in a suspension of disbelief type sense, it would be a lot less silly.
Yep. Okay, so what are you guys thinking? Anything jump out at you?
I think that the first. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, one thing that jumped out at me is you said that they had a hot young wife, and my character's immortal. It could be that my character's your character's mom, but like they're the same age.
Well, that's Jane D wasn't a person that you want to be.
Mother
of 8, died of bubonic plague. Bubonic plague was everywhere, man.
Fire magic.
I have a thought.
Yeah. What's up?
My brain immediately thinks find the conflict first. And I think that these 3 characters are all interesting, and I can see 2 of them being on the same side, but I can't see all 3 of them being on the same side.
Yeah.
So
I see where you're going with that.
here's what I'm thinking. Fatima is gonna have a grudge. I mean, they tried to kill her, you know.
She did already kill Guyu Khan, so...
Oh, I'm sorry, I must have missed that part. She already avenged her death and killed the dude?
Yeah, she killed... Guyu Khan Guyu Khan in history died of mysterious circumstances when he was leading a military campaign through China. So I said that Fatima, it's like, remember me? And she shot him
but then what's
with a gun she invented.
My question is, okay, how many years is it between then and the Renaissance?
This is the 1200s we're talking about with me.
Yeah, you're in the 1200s?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm in the 1600s.
Okay, so 400 years.
Yep.
Okay, maybe I should skip ahead to what I'm thinking big picture here. I think I want my character to play a part in John Dee's story. Because in some ways you can even say that perhaps Zlau set the Renaissance into motion. You know, there could be all kinds of ways that he had a hand in that, and I think that in some character that you wouldn't expect, he might be in some other body. In fact, I even think it would be kind of neat if like John Dee only got so interested in everything because Zlau took him over or something like that, or I don't know, or maybe like maybe John Dee, maybe take a different angle. Maybe John Dee, when they're looking at when they're looking through the mirror, they might see the realm where the dark being came from.
That makes
and
sense.
Right, yeah, that could be what they're looking into.
Yeah,
like a deep reflection of that.
So like maybe he gets on to them and and something bad happens. But anyway, what I'm working towards here is I like the idea of Zlau taking Theodora under his wing somehow.
Oh.
All
right.
And I don't know how that's going to go. Maybe that'll be good or bad, but that might be a cool way of getting that going.
Andrew, you had something?
Well, we can drop the thing about Fatima being her mom. That doesn't seem necessary.
Yeah,
but
keep rolling.
What if Zlau was either John Dee's partner or the Aztec king that gave them the mirror?
Yeah, no, perhaps in that time in history, before the Renaissance, before he kickstarted the Renaissance, he was dealing with the Mesoamerican culture. He was on the other side of the Atlantic, and through the mirror, maybe through the passing it from hands to hands. That's where your source of that's your portal into this other realm. Could be very linked to that.
Also, I want to give us the opportunity before we get too deep into this here. What if, like, this body snatching demon from another dimension? What if he's just like a cool dude? Like, he doesn't have to be evil manipulating historical events. Like, he can take all the forms. He's been a priest and a prophet and a murderer and all these things. But also, he just kind of works the Jamba Juice down the street. He's nice. His name's Mike.
I mean, he eats souls. Like, eats them.
That's what makes
like,
the Jamba Juice so good.
No, like, the souls are gone. Like, I mean, that...
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, like, I've always thought that, like, some fictional worlds take that a little bit too lightly. Like, whenever a soul comes into it, that is, like...
Yeah,
that is like pretty, that's level 10 seriousness right there. It's like,
it's
that's
serious, but I can also see him kind of jaded to it in a sense that after a very long time, it's nothing to him, which might be horrifying to someone else. But
right,
Victor,
exactly.
You had something?
Oh, I did. What was it? I was gonna say, I got it. The Black Mirror. Tell me more about, where did that come from?
It came from the Aztecs.
From the Aztecs. Okay. In the New World, so in, like, North America.
More of Central America.
Mexico-ish.
Yep.
Tenochtitlan and all that.
Well, I ask because I'm wondering if when Zlau got banished and in his travels, if he encountered the mirror, and perhaps that was the breach between the veils of reality. And
yeah, it could have taken that shape over however many centuries, too.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
if we unify
perhaps
that, if we unify that, it's going to make this episode really easy to title. The Mirror.
Oh, what
All
are
right,
titles?
want to do plugs?
No, that's way too simple. We'll get to the name later. But I think that could be an interesting detail that John Dee and Edward Kelly are kind of just scratching at the surface of this mirror.
When they're knocking on this world of the occult, they that's their connection to Zlau, how he starts to get into this. And as Dora picks up where her father left off, she reignites a relationship with Zlau. Perhaps they know Zlau in a way that they can recognize him when he takes over things. Almost like he was the one that provided. He's like their occult. I don't know how to put it. Their go-to guy. He's the one with all the information that they know. He's the well that they keep going back for more at.
Perhaps. Or
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to ask. Victor, when you said you can see two of them working on the same side, did you mean Dora and Zlau or Dora and Fatima?
I didn't have any in mind. I just said I could see there being a team up here, but I can't see there being all three of them on the same side. At least not on one at one given time. It could change.
Yeah, I don't think they would all end on the same side together, but I can see a lot of Fatima, perhaps Dora encountering Fatima, and that interest in the occult and that jinn side of things, and how she's lived for a long time.
What if the
she's
jinn
400?
Yeah. Well, what if the jinn are a bit more neutral than this Lao guy, and maybe Fatima's perspective is a little different on the supernatural, and so there's some conflict there. She's being torn. Go ahead.
Well, I know the thing with that is, my character and Adam's, they both have sort of ongoing goals. I'm trying to figure out, Fatima's 400 years old, and she's powerful. What does she do? What's her thing? So I'm thinking, maybe she is something that Zlau starts to kind of nudge Theodora to go check out. Hey.
She would be a great host, being immortal and stuff.
Well, Zlau and Fatima may have crossed paths before.
Yes, but hang on. Andrew's knocking at something good there. What if Fatima is the ultimate goal for Zlau? Because that's a body that can stay immortal.
Because she's one of the last jinn descendants in the world, let's say.
Yeah, that power, power in the shape of immortality as well, is kind of the missing ingredients to the dark forces that have become Zlau.
Yeah. Instead of a Dark Lord, you would have a queen, not dark but beautiful and terrible as the dawn, all shall love me in despair, etc.
Actually, what could be interesting is, because I picture, with his vast knowledge...
treacherous as the sea!
Well, because that's his thing, is he's acquired so much knowledge now.
Yeah,
that
knowledge plus that power equals...
Well, that's what I'm saying. He believes, with his knowledge, the world needs his guidance. He's the only one fit to rule the world, but doesn't really have the power. He's tried politics before, but it just doesn't really work out for him. So he figures, if I could consume Fatima's soul and take her body next, then her power combined with my knowledge, he could become basically the next ruler of the world.
Right. Okay. I always found the jinn fascinating because in a lot of mythology and theology, it's it goes angels, people, jinn, they're this third thing, and they're different. They're made of smokeless fire. They're made of...
and like humans, they have free will, which is unlike angels.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting kind of trinity in a way between those three and their relationships. And like I said, Dora's the kind of person that all different occult things the interest is in. So I can see her both following up stuff with Zlau, going under his wing, but also discovering Fatima and having a fascinating interest in that as well, and her as well.
Yeah, I mean, I can see. Yeah, I really like that hook. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. Zalal wants to combine his power with Fatima's. And again, I kind of see it being one of those, like, well, obviously he's bad. But I mean, his goals make sense. There's logic to them.
Right. We've got some pretty defined roles here in like how that's going to play out. Dora's the good bridge between the two characters, and Zalal wants to use Dora to get Fatima.
Right.
Basically.
Zalal is kind of like Dr. Doom, where he's so lawful evil that the lawful thing almost makes you sympathize with him.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that Dora's going to be she's going to be the sympathetic character here, because she's the one that, I mean, she's the only one that is less than 400 years old. Zalal is like 3,000 years old.
She's also got a bit of a dark history too, because in a way, Zalal and Fatima show her two sides. Fatima is that kind of natural genetic, scrying, divining, spiritual energy type of thing, while Zalal is that knowledge, it studies information side of things. If you guys are following me.
No, I'm with you. Well, it's that, like, it's always exciting to see a character learning how to use interesting abilities, or like seeing a character grow that way. Zalal and Fatima are both characters that are at their peaks.
Yeah, they're both tutors in different senses. Right,
so that's why Dora is going to be our sympathy character, because she's getting thrown into all these things just like the viewers are. So Act 1, I think, is going to have to be a lot of exposition, exploring John Dee, Edward Kelly, and I think that Zalau's backstory is going to have to come into it way later, like maybe even at the very end.
Yeah,
we're not going to know.
What I'm thinking is, for some reason, I'm thinking a very kind of non-linear, almost Nolan-esque story of how you can start off with a flashback show, say John Dee and Edward Kelly doing one of their scrying rituals and crazy stuff happening.
Oh, then like a Tarantino movie set in the Renaissance.
Well, it's pretty awesome. Then you go to the present, you see Dora, and you follow her do stuff.
Not the present.
Like, these are such rich backstories that you. These are such rich, yes. These are such rich backstories that you want to show a little bit of each one.
Yeah, and I think that the Black Mirror is a perfect way of introducing Zalau's background, but we don't get the whole story till the end. In fact, I want there to be sort of a twist. I want it to be a big reveal that whoever Zalal currently is Zalal. You know what I mean? Like, I want that to be a big thing where he finally...
almost... back to Nolan nonlinear, the Memento thing where you see things happen slowly throughout the movie and they don't make sense towards the end. Like, you could see all these different people in history with this Black Mirror, perhaps, or different doing those dark being type things. People with eyes that glow in a certain way.
Yeah.
Things that tells that this is Zalal, or this is something that doesn't quite add up. Until the end, when you realize that they're all connected in Zalal.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Act 1 is going to be a lot of meeting characters and introducing Dora, because she's our big thing. I think
Dora, her dad, John Dee, their cool uncle Zalal.
Well, I think, he wouldn't be called that. It would be, but anyway, I think Act 2 is going to be, I want Fatima to come into it, and I want that to be like Dora, seeking knowledge, trying to, expand her studies and
you could say
learn
that
more
this
about
is
herself.
You could say this is all coming from her doing a pursuit of the elixir of life and stuff like that. And in her study, she goes to perhaps a different land at the Renaissance, meets Fatima, and discovers Fatima, is able to get to her, and learns a whole different.
I think Fatima might already be in Italy during the Renaissance, because she would travel around as an immortal. And she goes where the heat is.
What do you picture?
I kind of pictured Fatima being like in some very isolated place with maybe like a very modest community of people that don't worship her, but like she's their divine leader. And they're very peaceful, very quiet. You know, maybe it's like a very beautiful place, very serene.
I'm thinking
It could just be like maybe up somewhere in the foothills of North Italy if we want to keep it close.
No, I want it to be far away. I want it to be some crazy thing because
Germany.
I think Act 2 should be
Indonesia.
a journey.
I picture just monks
Hold
in a mountain is what comes to
But
mind for me.
I think Act 2 should be Theodora and Zlau on a journey for truth and knowledge, trying to find Fatima. And I think that when they get there, there needs to be this like Act 2 finale twist where suddenly Zlau does something to try and strike at or capture or incapacitate Fatima. And it's like, what are you doing? You know, and
Right.
that's when there'll be that big schism, maybe even a big fight.
Oh,
I
wait,
know.
you know what? What about the Aztec place where the mirror's from?
You're talking about Mesoamerica?
Yeah, somewhere
Are
in
they
Mesoamerica.
going the way of the conquistadors, hopping on a ship headed over to the New World? That's an awesome isolated place.
That actually that works, actually.
Yeah.
That they could say like we need to go to the origin of this mirror, and so they sail to the New World. That could be an interesting prospect.
Or it could be like maybe the mirror is telling me something.
Yeah, whatever the case. But actually, just a little side note here. I'd say they'd start their journey around end of Act 1. You know, a large part of Act 2 is getting there, but then once they're there, you meet Fatima, and that's when she learns all things from Fatima. Yeah, end of Act 2 twist. Zlau messes things up with Fatima.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yep.
Yep.
And then Act 3 would be Fatima maybe sharing her knowledge of the dark being from the past. You know,
You learn about Zlau through
like
through
she could tell some horrible story about how back in the 1200s there was a man that was like him, and that was
Ooh.
you know.
It was Genghis Khan.
In your backstory, would you say Zlau was Genghis Khan? Yeah.
Oh, that could be. That would be great.
Or
I mean,
another
honestly,
another person in there?
He could be whoever we want. That's the
Oh,
cool-
wait. What if Zlau was Genghis Khan? What if he went through Ogadai and then into Guyuk? And then Fatima killed Guyuk, obviously, but he could have just shifted to, like, some guard or something at that point. Like, I feel like if Zlau's host is killed, he just goes to a different body.
Yeah, something like that. And in that backstory, you can see how their Gyuk and Fatima, their rocky relationship has to do with Zlau's very, poignant interest in Fatima and getting her power.
Okay, so this is a quest for revenge, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Almost.
Or actually, I was thinking like, what if Zlau was trying to access the power of the Jinn within Fatima and actually like instigated having her executed and thrown in the river.
Oh,
and,
I see.
And
So
then
it's
and
a
then
little
somehow
bit like Deadpool.
So somehow he gets torn away and doesn't get to pursue her after that.
Or
And
he
and
thinks
he's-
that she dies in the river.
Yeah.
Something, and then he spends 400 years trying to find her again, and
Or trying to find someone similar, can't do it.
and Dora's his way. Dora's his way to get what he's wanted all this time.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Hmm.
Okay, third act. How's this going down?
man.
I'm thinking magic fight.
I was thinking that.
Oh, yeah, magic
Well,
fight.
I imagine that Zlau wouldn't really have that. Like he would have some, but it would be more like powers of deception or of. I mean, he can take people's souls, so I imagine that his powers would be more defensive than
I think-
offensive.
True, but you can make that look really cool. If
Yeah.
you say that if they're trying to kill, say Fatima's throwing fireballs at him and he's jumping from one person's body to the other, and you just see him falling dead as they get consumed by flames.
Oh
No.
man.
Sneaking around like that, or he jumps right behind her. Now he's a soldier behind her. And he's got him on the ground.
I imagine him also having powers that can affect like light and dark, like like if they're in some sort of structure, he can suddenly just consume all the light in the room,
Right.
So for a while, the fight would just have like balls
for
of
Fatima
fire.
fire. So all
That's
you
what I'm
can see
saying,
is
yeah.
just fire on the screen.
Just bursts of fire, with just yeah. And I mean, dude, he's lived for thousands of years. He's probably mastered every fighting style there is.
Yeah, some of that too.
He probably
and you get.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's really cool stuff. All right, and how does Dora come into this? Dora needs to make a decision, right?
Well, during all this
combination magic fight, kung fu fight, because Fatima might also know some combat.
Oh, dude, she totally would. She's 400 years old. Of course she has. Yeah, and so it would have the fighting, and then I think Dora needs to find a way of banishing Zlau back into the mirror. That's going to have to be how it goes.
Some kind of I'm thinking destroy/shatter the mirror in a certain way at a certain time with a certain solution, perhaps.
Actually, I don't know.
A volcano.
No. I don't want it to be destroyed. I don't like that trope. I think destroying it would be terrible. Like I think it would be, a bad idea because it's better
more like
to
reseal Zlau in the mirror.
Yeah, it's a manifestation of a breach in the veil of reality. If you destroy it, you don't know what could happen. It could just shatter the veil completely. There could be a Half-Lifeian, merging of dimensions with all kinds of...
Right, so instead of break, you combine, you encase, you protect, you keep it together.
Well, if they're in,
it's like instead of
15th century, if they're in 16th century, Mesoamerica, then they might be doing something with. There might be something with blood sacrifice involved.
We're a little past that.
Culture.
Yeah, that was earlier 15th century, or earlier 1500s, I should say. And Tenochtitlan is no more, but I imagine that they're in some kind of temple that's hidden still from the conquistadors that they haven't touched yet.
I imagine that I imagine that the whole veil thing would be like you want to close the door, not rip off the wall.
That makes more sense.
So I think we need to put him back in the mirror, and then the mirror needs to be kept safe.
Right.
So that could be what we're shooting for here.
Okay.
Throw the mirror into the ocean.
So Dora needs to. I'm thinking some kind of alchemy, or some kind of spirit powers, something like that comes into play here.
She needs to figure out whatever Zlau did thousands of years ago. She needs to because he did it. He already knows how to access it.
Yes.
So
she has to find out how to kind of reverse engineer that.
She has to take what she knows about Zlau from her travels and studies with him, and what she knows just on her own, and try to put it together and try to figure it out. So that would have to be a thing. And I mean, I'm sure Zlau wasn't the only dark being in there. There's probably other dangers of it.
Mm-hmm. I imagine, perhaps while the fight's going on, this mirror, this portal is being torn open a little bit. Like you see kind of some Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of stuff just flying out of it, and it's her job to seal it up, maybe with an alchemical potion of some kind that she's working on, or somehow controlling these spirits using her genetic powers.
So there's a magic fight / kung fu fight going on simultaneously with a science montage. This is the best movie.
Magic science, actually.
I'm thinking maybe Zlau found the mirror in some kind of pool or lake or something that had specific conditions physically.
Yeah, maybe a pool of old blood, blood from an early man.
Or maybe
sounds
even,
delicious.
Or maybe even what if? Think about this. Maybe he found it encased in ice. And they're in the middle of, Central America, and, she would have to find a way of freezing it, and this is before they had freezers. So
that's possible.
That would be an interesting thing.
Mm-hmm. Something like that. Okay, so...
How do you freeze it, then?
Take it to the top of a mountain?
Okay, that would be how.
Yeah, freezing's okay. I thought of something else, but I can't remember.
I pulled that out. I pulled it out of thin air. We don't have to use it. It's
thin air, like a mountain.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, I remember what it was. Remember what I was saying earlier about the different pursuits of alchemy? How they had the like ultimate panacea, the ultimate solvent, the material that can like that can. The way it works is that it's like the material that can dissolve anything. What if there's a type of a pool that holds like a material, an ultimate solvent made of natural occurring, a fountain of youth style thing that you need to submerge it in to seal it off.
I think you're on the right track. But
yeah, I just don't know enough mythology.
Something just occurred. I'm going to take what you just said and my ice idea and put them together.
Okay, that works.
What if see, because remember, Zlau was a fortune teller that had this interest in high magic and started experimenting. So it could have been an alchemical thing. It could have been something like that. So I'm thinking
besides mirrors, the other thing you can use as a scrying surface is a pool of water.
Well, what I'm thinking is, what if there's some sort of elixir that needs to be made and poured over the surface of the mirror, and it makes the mirror it makes the membrane kind of melt away, like as if it was a window of glass. And then it opens the veil temporarily. And
then you need another solution to seal it over again.
Or or something needs to pass through. Like, because that's what happened the first time, or something like that, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that's a neat idea.
A scientific process.
Yeah, so, like, a climactic move in the fight would be, like, Fatima's shot off a lot of fireballs. She's kind of weakened, just like she's getting exhausted. And so now Zlau goes in for the final move of taking Fatima's soul, and she's, like, fighting it off. And just then, like, the thing happens that stops Zlau.
Yeah, something like that.
I imagine it's. I know this is lame, but I imagine it kind of being like the Phantom Zone, like it opens up.
No, that's how I thought of it too.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. So,
I see a big storm happening right now.
And something needs to happen where they try to force Zlau back into it, and when it's all said and done, what's going to be left is the mirror. And Zlau's still in there, just like he was thousands of years ago. And the mirror can't be destroyed, but it's going to stay with Fatima. And I've been thinking this for half the episode. We need to set up a sequel. What's going to happen is now Dora's going to start studying underneath Fatima.
That's what I was thinking, a Yoda-Luke scenario.
That'll be the new thing.
Huh.
And that'll be, and she can even say, like, I've been around 400 years. There are other bad people that we need to deal with.
Yeah, and Zlau is like, you know how many different kinds of magics there are. This is just one of them. There's all kinds of other bad stuff out there.
There's Zlau. There's what I do. That's just two.
I said scrying and alchemy. That's two more.
We
came up with four between the three of us.
You're on a good path. Don't worry. You're doing pretty good. There's like two more at least.
That's an awesome movie. That's really cool stuff.
It sounds pretty cool. It sounds like it would have a slow build with a pretty hefty payoff.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Sort of Scorpion King-ish, but without the rock.
All right, yeah. Okay, name time. All right, also the 5-minute limit.
All right, we are at an hour, just about.
So, yeah.
Good.
We did pretty good with that.
I mean, you can do all kinds of stuff with the whole Faustian imagery. You could call it the Devil's Deal. Or,
the Devil's Mirror. I feel like since we're involving a mirror pretty heavily, we can just throw the word mirror somewhere in there.
Well, what if we name... It has to have a name.
I can look it up. There might be a name to it.
Oh, this was a real artifact.
Yeah. It's a real thing, man.
Call it... Oh, yeah.
It's just called John Dee's Aztec Mirror.
Call it...
I got it. The Black Stone is another name for it.
Too bland. I was thinking like the Silver Veil.
Silver Veil?
Well, it's a mirror.
I guess.
I always pictured mirrors being silver, even though they... But,
Black Veil. Nah.
Nah, too easy.
I don't like Veil.
How about,
It's got like that wedding-y feel to it.
What about just Zlau?
It's made of obsidian, for the record.
Obsidian Veil. The Obsidian...
Andrew doesn't like Veil, and I agree with him. It's kind
I
of
don't like Veil,
wedding-y.
and I don't like Obsidian. I think Obsidian's too much of a sciencey word for people to
Oh,
grab
I like
onto.
that word.
You're not going to see a movie with the word Obsidian in it.
Yeah,
don't see why
I
not,
don't
but okay.
disagree.
All right.
That's coming from a scientist.
Divination.
That's too sciencey a word.
All right, so Door D, Fatima, a lot of different magics here. Alchemy is at the core of it. Immortality too.
Immortals among us.
Ooh, I've been wanting to use this. Not really among us, among the people in the Renaissance. I've been wanting to use this word for a while now in a title. Oblivion.
Back to Oblivion. No, that's
Oh wait,
the
not.
sequel.
Oh, I forgot that was totally a movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fun word though. Okay, 3 minutes
Magic.
left.
Magic.
Oh, you can't just put
Renaissance.
magic right in the cover.
Ooh,
Renaissance.
I've got one that's a little bit creepier.
Okay.
Focusing a little bit on Zlau's terrifying ability. You can call
We
it
got 2 minutes.
passing on.
Mm.
Or like the passing of
The passing, like the quickening.
the passing. Or
Are you saying the passing? Nah, I'm passing.
I mean, there's the notion of immortality, the notion of carrying on work, wanting to better
Scrying.
oneself.
Various-
Carrying on work is inheritance, right?
There's a lot of stuff about divine. There's the jinn. There's speaking to angels.
Immortal inheritance.
Too wordy.
Okay,
I'm thinking
2 words.
divine.
Immortals. What? Wait.
Immortals. No,
Immortals.
been done. How about like immortals and divine or something like that, or
Ooh, I like that. That's neat stuff.
the immortals and the divine,
The
or like
and
how about
Divine immortals.
I wish I named my character Mephistopheles.
Let's see. Occult. That's another word we haven't
Occult.
touched yet.
I'm trying to. It has to be a name that captures like what's this movie really about? It's about how human beings are all in our quest for knowledge. It's like I said, it's very Faustian. Like you make a lot of really dumb choices and sacrifices for the sake
Right.
of knowledge and immortality.
The pursuit of knowledge and eternal life. Elixir of life.
Immortal Pursuit.
That's
I
not
like-
bad.
That's pretty good. We got about a minute left, so
I kind of like Elixir of Life, though. That's not that bad. I think it's a title, though, already, of something.
of the elixir of life. That's a thing. If you put Harry Potter in the elixir of life and you use synonyms, you're going to get the name of a book.
Okay, Elixir.
The good, the bad, and the immortal.
Immortal elixir.
Body snatching. Fire.
How about the price
Transcendent.
How about the price of souls?
Mage's Quest.
All right, guys.
The Price
We're
of
almost
Souls.
at our time. What have you got?
I guess The Price of Souls. No.
Well, hold on, wait. I'm on to something. Get a bonus round. One more minute.
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay.
Um,
Bonus round, 1 more minute.
I was on to something with the price of souls. Something about. I think this particular story is focusing on Zlau because this whole thing is his, his lifelong quest, and he's the one that. Okay. So I'm thinking something has to do with his.
The cost of life.
Cost of life.
The value of life. The value of immortality.
Soul
He wants to-
imposter.
Imposter is not bad.
Imposter's the name of a
Imposter,
movie.
immortal.
That's why I wanted
Wait,
to put like
wait.
Soul Imposter. or-
Immortal imposter.
Immortal Imposter. What's a different word for imposter?
Immortal Facade. Immortal
What's the word I'm thinking of? It's like Harlequin.
Pretender, imitator, hoaxer.
Soul Usurper.
It's like Harlequin, sort of.
I don't know you're
not
going it.
like etymologically. It's
Immortal imitator.
okay. Let me look up some synonyms.
Imitation of man.
Andrew,
No.
you're talking about masquerade. Ooh,
Masquerade. Yeah.
Oh man,
The immortal masquerade, because he doesn't die and he keeps pretending to be other people.
And it's in the Renaissance, so masquerade matches that time frame.
Yes.
Eternal masquerade.
Okay.
Immortal's a little too on the nose. I like Eternal
Alright.
Masquerade.
The
Yeah,
eternal masquerade.
The Eternal Masquerade?
The
nah.
eternal masquerade.
Are
I
you
like
sure?
Throw
Yeah.
a V on there.
Why not?
The Eternal
Alright.
Masquerade.
Adam, I gotta say that 5-minute time limit added so much tension.
Yeah,
It really
it's
did.
cool, right? Nice. All right, so that was our episode. I hope you
Hey.
enjoyed our
Yeah.
quest into historical fantasy. I thought that was a really fun one,
I,
guys.
I think this is one that you might need to really make sure you're paying attention to. There's a lot going on in this one. Yikes. Cool, though. Very cool.
So if you enjoyed this episode, you can find our other ones on our website, tinyurl.com/genrebots. You can find us on Spreaker, Stitcher, Omni. You can Facebook.com/genrebot, Twitter.com/genrebotpodcast. You can send us an email at podcast.genrebot@gmail.com. And if you leave us a review on iTunes, we'll read it on the show. We have a few to read today.
Are we gonna
Hey.
read all the rest of the ones we have?
No,
I think either
like three or
either
four.
2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
I want to read.
Three.
I want to get through them all.
But no, we want to save some for other episodes.
Yeah, because we might not get any more reviews.
Well, what if we just don't?
No, we're not going through them all now. We're just going to do 2 or 3.
Let's do.
All right. Well, let's just.
Three-
Okay. Well, I've
three
got them all
reviews.
pulled up here. How about we'll each pick one.
I don't have them pulled up. Could one of you send me one?
I do here. Andrew.
Here, wait, you two just do one, okay?
All right.
And then we'll have 2.
Good.
Okay.
Andrew, why don't you do the next one on the list?
Gotta do the next one. We did the first 3, so.
All right. Are we just doing them in order?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Next was Zeus.
I adore this by Zeus.t.s. I love storytelling and enjoy hearing the brainstorming process on the podcast. Love it.
Nice.
We love you, Zeus.t.s. Elliott.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next one. And by the way, all our reviews so far have been 5 stars. Not bragging, but that's okay.
Well, there's a
next
thing.
one.
If you like something even a little bit, you'll rate it 5 stars. If you hate it, you'll rate it 1 star, and there's not a lot of in between with most
No
people.
1 stars. Yeah.
No 1 star.
Yay.
All right. Next one says awesome by Turn It Out 920. It says I'm for sure going to try this with some of my friends. Super fun listen. See, that's awesome. We're inspiring others to be creative. That is great.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
would be like a fun board game. Our podcast gimmick, actually.
Yeah.
Like you
Just
roll
cut that
something,
out
you
so
get a
we can-
genre.
Yeah.
You roll something, you get a
Format it.
character element.
Somebody fund us. All right.
All right,
Adam.
and finally, we have the part of the show where we announce what we're doing next week.
Oh
we're just-
man.
Okay.
So, Victor, it's your topic. What is it gonna be?
Okay. You're going to have to imagine that we're sitting at a table, and I'm sliding an envelope across the table to you. Our next genre, should you choose to accept it, is a spy movie. Yeah. There you
All
go.
right, nice. That'll be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
All right, so sheathe your sword, walk off into the sunset, because there can only be one.
Nice.
I'm not sure how that applies to this, so I'll see you next week.
All right. See you later, everyone.
Remember, if your head comes away from your neck, it's over.